Tell me it ain't so. This video was the last time Claressa Shields' ex, Tony Rich, drove the truck before Claressa repossessed the truck wearing a Papoose t-shirt. Check it out.
Yes, sir. Ski. Gotta get that money. You know, LA Fitness.
Well, he damn sure ain't get the money that day because she took the truck. But to make it even worse, right after she repoed the truck, she went on vacation to Hawaii with Papoose. And she posted this picture. Now, remember, we all watched Claressa Shields grow up. I personally seen her for the first time at the National POW for the Olympic qualifier when she was only 16 years old, and she actually was fighting grown women and she dominated the whole competition. I mean, she was a phenom. She threw combinations, she had power, heart, everything that you want out of a fighter. She was a bad young lady. She went on to win 2 gold medals. Now, after winning the 2 gold medals, she had a public relationship with this guy right here, Tony Rich, and they were posting their relationship online, and everything looked so promising. They were buying homes. They were working out together. She was supporting his personal fitness training that he was doing, and everything looked good until her whole image changed and she started coming to the weigh-ins wearing thongs and weave. And after all this celebrity status, suddenly Tony Rich wasn't good enough, and she made this statement on the Angela Yee Show.
At a place in my career where it's just that maybe we're on a break. You know, we're not together right now. Maybe we're on a break, you know. It's simple stuff. I text you, I call you. You don't have to ask me to call you, ask me to text you, ask me to, like, that's what love is. So if you're with somebody who have you doing that, maybe you're just not the one.
So that, and tonight on the Thursday Night Therapy, should we give our ex a second chance? Let's go. This is my father, Big Chuck. He taught me the pimp mentality from the crib, so I was never faithful in any relationship. Until one day, 6 years ago, I looked at all the broken hearts and pain that I caused and decided it was time to level up. So now I'm a happily married man who still doesn't stand for the trick mentality that is destroying our community.
I'm Champagne, a single woman on a journey to build a life rooted in self-love, balance, and authenticity. I'm exploring the ups and downs of personal growth, embracing independence, and creating space for joy, peace, and purpose. Whether you're on a similar path or just curious about the ride, this is your space to feel seen, inspired, and empowered.
I'm Dante. I'm the realest of the group. I'm once married and now divorced and dating as a single father. Here to bring a grounded perspective, pushing past all the fluff and get into the heart of what really matters.
Hey, hey, hey! Welcome to Thursday Night Therapy. Things you talk to your therapist about. The show where we dive into the good, the bad, and the downright awkward conversations we all have, or maybe should have, in therapy. Tonight's topic, should you ever give an ex a second chance? But before we get into that, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that every time that we go live, you know when we are up. Just a reminder, tonight's topic, should you ever give an ex a second chance? So stick around and we'll dive into it. But first, let's talk about current events. What's up, fellas?
Hey, what's up? How's everybody been doing this week?
I'm great. I'm always good. That's about to be my standardized word going forward. I'm always good.
So you ain't keeping it real.
I don't gotta keep real with random people. I can always just say, you know, if you think it, you'll be it.
I know that's right. Mr. Married Man, Mr. Love Doctor, how was your Valentine's Day, sir?
Oh, everything was great. Everything was great. We just got to spend some time. We didn't do anything special, but we got to spend some time with each other, and you know, and that's the most important thing. So everybody is unique on how they, you know, develop their relationships, and we had some one-on-one time, and you know, we just kicked it and watched some TV and just did our own thing. You know what I mean? So we had a good time.
Black love, I love it.
Yes,
what
sir.
about you, Tay? What you got going on?
Yeah, not a whole lot, man. It's getting cold again down here. I'm ready for this winter to be over with, man. I'm convinced I should have been born in the summertime. It's been a little cold. Other than that, everything's been cool. I don't have any complaints at all. What do we got on current events?
All right, let's go. Chuck, what you got?
All right, y'all. So, you know, our topic tonight is, should you give your ex a second chance? Now, listen, relationships are not perfect. And in a long-term relationship, it's more of a sprint than a marathon. And sometimes we take things for granted with our relationships, and, you know, we don't know if our relationship is going to go a long way or not. Now, as far as the current event, we're talking about Claressa Shields. Let's get into what she did on the Angela Yee show. Let's check it out. Hold on one second. This is Claressa Shields' takes on second chances. Let's check it out. Where are we at? This is Claressa Shields' takes on second chances. Let's check it out.
You're still in recovery, so you can't.
Yeah, you know, but look, my eyes still wonder.
Next time I see you, you're gonna be back engaged again, maybe.
Girl, you know what? That's what gets on my nerves, right? Like, I'm a relationship type woman.
Yeah,
I'm not for the streets.
Yeah.
I'm not like the whole dating around and stuff. I'm not. Like, it's a couple guys like courting me a little bit, but it's like right now, I'd be like, as soon as they do one thing I don't like, I'd be like, yeah, fuck that. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, bro. Thanks.
Right.
Not it.
Man, and as you see right there, she don't give second chances. Man, I mean, like I said, she had a good thing going on with her guy. And after a while, I mean, you know, it wasn't good enough for her. So he wasn't loving her like the way she wanted to be loved, and she moved on. She never gave him a second chance after they broke up. And I mean, you know, so it didn't have staying power. I mean, like I said, when I looked at their story and how close they were and all the things that they did, and they came from the same mud together, I thought that it was going to be successful for a long time. But, you know, when, you know, you judge more by prosperity, I think, than adversity sometimes, because, you know, once you start getting all the fame and you can start getting all the attention, you start getting tried by so many different people. And then, you know, you see what they got compared to what your man might not be doing for you, or your woman might not be doing for you. And then at the end of the day, sometimes, you know, you might not stack up. And he wasn't, like, you know, showering her with gifts and everything. Papoose came in there and was, you know, he was giving her the Remy Ma special. And, you know, they just went to Hawaii together. You know what I'm saying? He's showering her with gifts. He done bought her like coats and everything. I'm watching how they move. And her, you know, her boy, you know, they started off in the project together. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, he didn't have the same thing to offer. And, you know, and once, you know, she didn't feel appreciated, she left and never came back. So, you know, I don't know how y'all feel about it.
Did she have to wear a shirt with Papoose face on it when she repoed that man's truck, though?
She got to drive it all the way home, you know.
That's insane to me, bro. She did not have to wear that shirt to repo that man's truck. I think it's interesting, a lot of the celebrity relationships, because I've seen even with like Quavo and like Arisha, like repoing a car sometimes when relationships are over with. And I do find that to be interesting on like how that process works, because I guess in this instance, they had been broken up for a while. And I think he was able to drive that truck until she got a new man. I think that's where that line be drawn, because he was driving. She didn't take that truck when they broke up. She took that truck when she got a new man. I peep game, Claressa. I peep game.
But isn't that what y'all don't want her to have interaction with the ex anymore? So that sounds like she did what she was supposed to do. She cut it off so that she could focus on this new relationship, and that there's no questions about this new car.
But the thing is, like, okay, this is the thing. If you really care about somebody, like, now she know his situation. Like, they both started together. He was a fitness trainer. So, you know, like, they started all this together. Like, she was promoting his fitness thing on her Instagram and everything. So she know that, I mean, this is the only way he eating. Now, if you move on, and that's cool. But if you care about the guy, damn, you could at least let him keep the damn truck. Come on, man. You don't want to break him down to where he on a bus pass and everything.
Is she making the payments?
I don't know what. I don't know what. I don't know.
That's the only way I can think of you would represent.
Listen, obviously he thought it was his ride. He wouldn't have been driving it. She had to have given it to him, but she took it back. You know what I'm saying? Damn.
Who making the payments? I don't give a damn, but who making the payments?
Yeah, because if she's making the payment, it's her car. And like you guys said, you can't be keeping in contact with your ex. It doesn't matter if you care about them.
But I'm just saying, she a millionaire. That was like a 40,000, 50,000 $40,000-$50,000 truck. Come on, they've been together for years, bro. Like he was training with her and everything. Just let him have the damn truck.
I mean, let him take over the payment. He could take over the payments.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sure it ain't no payment. I'm sure they bought that cash though. Like that ain't no payments on that.
Oh,
You know
if it was paid for already, then yeah, man, that's a gift. If that was paid for already, man.
I mean, if it's a gift, he can sue her. If it's a true gift, he can really sue her and say, "Hey, this is it was a gift. It was given to me." It's not like an engagement ring where the woman, if you don't go through with a marriage, you have to give back the ring because you broke the agreement. But it was a gift. So if it was truly a gift, he could actually go fight for him. Like, no, this was a gift. It was given to me. But it really sounds like she's footing the bill.
Yeah,
she can't afford it. The car is hers.
Right. I mean, like I said, if it ain't in your name, it ain't yours. So I'm sure that's probably what had it something to do with it. I think he was down in Atlanta. Like I said, they're from Flint, Michigan, but she took the truck back in Atlanta. He was actually going to a fitness thing. He had just posted that video right before she repo'd it. So she's saying he wasn't down in the dirt yet. He was still, doing the training. So she made sure that, he wasn't going to eat no more off of her dime, I guess.
You know it's a little petty. It's a little petty because she was like that. I mean, and I wonder, like, because he put that video up, I wonder if it was like something she's been trying to do for a little bit, because that is strange that as soon as he puts the video up, she comes right there and get it. So, like,
but this is the thing, like you said, how the hell you gonna repo the damn truck and you got Papoose's t-shirt on? Like that means, man, come on, bro. You put a little extra sauce on that. Like you really trying to like put him down in the ground. You know what I'm saying? Come on, and just take the truck in silence. You're gonna put it and then you post it online with the t-shirt on.
Yeah, it's all that. It's all that for me.
Damn. So that's like, man, listen, loyalty. He didn't do nothing blatantly, like he cheated on her or he stole from her or nothing like that. She just was unhappy with him. So at the end of the day, why are you trying to still like kick the man down even more and more? That's what I'm saying. Like, damn. You know what I mean? That's like
amicable breakups aren't popular anymore. Somebody's got to come out on top these days.
Yeah.
Point.
Right.
Yeah.
I see.
Right.
Go ahead, check.
No, I was gonna say, and then she, like I said, right after the fight, they went to Hawaii. She posted and stuff like that. Like I said, part of it is definitely spite. You know what I'm saying? For some reason, she feels like she gotta dig it in, man. And it's like, man, women, when y'all go out, boy, y'all go hard. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't, like if I once cared about somebody, okay, if I take the truck back, I'm not going to play them type of games where I'm trying to keep hurting you more or whatever, unless you start some stuff with me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But like I said, in this case, it was just, man, she was just biting.
Yeah, I mean, Claressa getting, she's getting deeper into the modern games than I would like to see. I think that this also has a lot to do with Remy Ma and her beef with Remy Ma. And the way that things transpired between Papoose and Remy and everything that went down with that, on top of her ex, because she's repoing his car publicly with the Papoose shirt on, and they're going to the fight together. That's one thing, but she's posting after the fight about his support, and then they're going to Hawaii right after repoing the truck and posting pictures. And the thing is, prior to a lot of this stuff starting, I like Claressa because for the most part she was quiet. But now she's becoming a bit braggadocious, and I don't know Papoose on a personal level, but I mean I feel like I followed the guy for so long that I don't necessarily read him as the kind of guy that's into the superficial and into those type of things. I kind of read him as kind of a real person and a genuine person.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how that plays out, because I can imagine him eventually getting tired of her playing the game with her exes versus let's concentrate on us.
I think Papoose, he likes aggressive women, you know what I'm saying? And that's his type, because Remy Ma and her actually have the same type of personality where they're aggressive. And I just think that's what he's attracted to, because he's more of a laid back, guy or whatever. And I think that those personalities that they have, I think they kind of match with each other, you know what I'm saying? Because he's more, he's more in the background type, you know what I'm saying? He's more laid back. And so because, if you got two feisty people, you're going to bump heads. And I think like when we're talking about like long-term relationships and everything, I mean, it has to be a good fit. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? There has to be some understanding. And like I said, when we talk about second chances, I mean, this is the thing. You know, when you give people second chances, I mean, you have to have patience, and patience is to suffer with someone. And depending how bad their mistakes are, you know, I mean, should we give them a second chance? You know what I'm saying? Because the single mentality, and what I see for most single people that I deal with, is once they come across any type of difficulty in a relationship, they tend to run instead of to deal with it head on. And like, you know, I get it. Some things are a deal breaker, like cheating and things like that, but some things are fixable. And you might, you know, be running away from someone that could be actually a good person for the things that are fixable. So why not try to, you know, work things out on certain things depending on what they are? And you know, and it's funny because I remember like I dealt with certain females and I might have like, you know what I'm saying, gave them like, you know what I'm saying, like, cause I ain't really care back at the time anyway, but I'll be like, all right, I don't get, you know, whatever. But then if I did the same thing, then they ain't give me no second chance. You know what I mean? So I don't know what that is, especially with like when me dealing with black women, especially like I told you, when I went back and I tried to like actually go back and revisit some of the good women that I had been with before, because I knew that they were wifey material. They weren't gonna give me no chance whatsoever. But you got to understand that people do change. That's a part of life, and people evolve as people. And if you don't think that people are going to change, I mean, then you know everybody's so caught up on the fantasy at the beginning of the relationship when everything is like, you know, it's all promises, but you know there's no actions behind the words, and we're just all, you know, in fantasy land. And I think that that's what people chase, is like the honeymoon phase. They chase that. But after that settled down, you got to deal with the person at the core and who they are. And if you can't deal with that, then the relationship ain't going to last. So stop chasing that beginning phase when everything is all exciting and all that shit, because after a while, it's going to wear down and it's going to settle into what the relationship is going to be.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I love how you're going straight into the topic for the evening, but I mean,
Yeah, that's my fault. Go ahead.
Were there any other current events that anyone else want to dilly-dally in? So Garfield said, hell no, she belongs to the streets. I think she belongs to the streets because she's for her man. I mean, she's for her dude. I mean, it is braggadocious, but she's really for her dude. But I'm sorry, Dante, did you have a current event?
Nope.
No? Okay. Well, I just kind of want to touch over. We're also talking about exes.
Okay.
So we were supposed to do this last week, but you know, lifing. But so last week, you got a great radio vote. Go for it, my brother. Look at that. Okay. The
right, Carlos.
Go ahead, Carlos.
Yeah.
So the Super Bowl happened. Did you guys watch the Super Bowl?
Of course.
Yes.
Oh my God. First of all, Philly! I won $10 off of that game. By halftime, I kept watching it because you know it wasn't gonna go anywhere at the halftime. But man, 24-0 at halftime. Great game for me. But and then Mahomes cried at the end. It was awesome. But okay. But when we got to
you hate light-skinned people, man. Just say it.
It's not a light-skinned thing issue. It's a Kansas City Chiefs situation. The refs are always cheating for them. They're always helping them win. All right. It's just Mahomes. I just don't care. But anywho, so we get to the Super Bowl, right? Kendrick Lamar. And he gets up there and well, one, what do you guys think about the performance? What do you guys think about the Super Bowl performance?
Oh shit. Are you talking about halftime?
Halftime. Sorry, the halftime. Yeah. Halftime show.
Like I said, it was deep. It had a lot of subliminal messages. You know, but I mean, I liked it because I like lyrics and things like that. And some people may not, but he had a lot of, you know, Kendrick was dropping some stuff in there, man. So, and I liked how he mixed it in with Sam Jackson and everything. You know, I liked it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Super Bowl, the show was cool. I think that you had to know what was going on to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think that the people who didn't know what was going on didn't enjoy it. So I think overwhelmingly the masses probably didn't enjoy it as much as they maybe could have because they didn't necessarily know what was going on. But for those who knew what was going on, it was very catchy. you got everything that you thought you were going to get when you heard who was doing the halftime show.
Yeah, and I'm a firm believer that when it comes to halftime shows, if you like the artist, is a good chance that you'll like the show. If you don't like or don't know the artist, you're probably not going to like the show.
Sure.
But during this show where Kendrick, which he goes through and he teases around, he pokes at his op Drake. I don't know if I used that correctly, but in there at the end, you see the awesome Serena Williams out there crip walking in. Okay, she wasn't born in Compton. She was born in Michigan, but she grew up in Compton. And it was kind of like a throwback, like, hey. And also, a lot of people don't recognize, because a lot of people focus on the fact that Serena and Drake dated at one point. And as we know, I won't say this whole Super Bowl was targeted at Drake, because I think that diminishes what the Super Bowl was. But we know that part of it was. And so people saw Serena get up there. She got there. She crip walk. And everybody first thought was, she's shitting on Drake because they used to date. It was an ex, right? But we just talked about how Claressa, is that her name? Claressa gave back the car. And, we said that guys don't like women dealing with their exes. So Serena gets up there and she's married to Alexis Ohanian, who I think he's the owner of Reddit or something like that. He created Reddit. So she's up there crip walking, and so many men were outraged because they felt like, I would never have my wife up there directing anything towards an ex. One guy was Stephen A. Smith from ESPN. He gets on there. He talks about Serena, about how he would never let his wife get up there and crip walk or basically entertain her ex, Drake, which I thought was a wild take on it, because I don't think that Serena went up there to necessarily aim at Drake. I think Serena was aiming at the critics, because years ago during the Olympics, she did the crip walk and it was so ghetto, it was so hood and everything. So my question, if Serena was your girl, she gets up there, she's crip walking, right? Let's say she was doing it to get back at Drake. Now, mind you, Drake, he's taking shout outs at her husband in songs. She's never even admitted that she's dated Drake. Drake was doing light skin activity. My bad, Dante. And started telling everybody about him and her. Oh, yeah, Chuck, you too. But would you guys would that be offensive to you if your girlfriend was involved with it? Your wife was involved in those shenanigans?
You want me to go first, or you, Dante?
On you, big dog.
All right, listen. First of all, I want to address Stephen A. Smith. Okay. He's a clown, man. And for one, he's not in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? He's not married or anything. So I hate when people always say theories of what they would and would not do when you're not even in any type of relationship to even show about it. So for Stephen A. Smith to come out and say that while you're not having a wife, you're single, bro. So don't say what you would do if you was married or whatever the case may be. I ain't trying to hear all that shit. All right. Now, second of all, I wouldn't be happy about my my wife if she was having energy towards her ex relationships, like trying to be spiteful, sending out messages and things like that, because it's time for you to move on. Let's move on to I don't care about what happened to you before me, but all I care about is what we do going forward. And I'm not but as far as her crip walking, she from the hood. If she married a white dude, bro, that's where she from, bro. That's just that's just a dance. It ain't like she was in a gang. That's just just a dance that they do. So for him, he don't understand the culture. He never will. So he got to let her do her thing, bro.
Well, I mean, that's the whole key, man, is understanding. Here's the thing. Even with Stephen A., I actually saw that show. I was watching that show live when it came up. And Stephen A. Smith, just like a lot of other people, got the information out of context. Like Payne pointed out, it was in reference to Serena winning that tennis championship and doing the crip walk and all of the backlash and criticism that she received related to that. It wasn't necessarily completely aimed at Drake, but at the time, that's the context that was being provided. People were saying Kendrick had not one, but two of Drake's exes at the show. SZA performed as well, who was one of his exes, and Serena was doing the crip walk. So the conversation was, Kendrick has his ex-girlfriends up there. And then the conversation was, well, that ex-girlfriend is married. And it was, if that was my wife and she was going and giving that energy, she'd be the first thing smoking. That was the context of the conversation. People didn't know the importance. And that was what I said earlier about the halftime show, is that if you knew what was going on, you were able to enjoy it. But if you don't, it can be a bit confusing. Drake's ex-girlfriends were up there dancing. One of his ex-girlfriends has a husband. The husband is saying that he's fine with it. So like a lot of stuff, attention being paid to things that weren't actually the show. It was all of the other stuff. So I think it just goes back to understanding. If you remember the backlash received related to her doing that crip walk at the time, when she won that tennis championship, then you would understand. If she was my woman and it was related to that, I'd have a one-on-one conversation with her. And if her motivation was strongly related to the disrespect that she received, the pushback she received, backlash to doing that dance on live television, then I may support it. But to be honest, just like Love Doctor, man, if the energy is in relation to giving energy to getting back at an ex, I mean, that's very, very unattractive if that is in fact what's going on.
It would like, if it's like for me, if it was like a every waking moment and he's over here plotting on his ex every moment, like, yeah, that is a lot of energy. But Drake has released a couple, subliminals towards Serena and her husband. And if that was my dude and his ex is sending subliminals at him, yeah, let's go ahead. Like, this is cool. This is clean cut. Yeah, we can shoot back at him. I mean, I'm not threatening a millionaire, but we can, I don't bust back.
Shoot back at him.
Petty, bro.
Yeah, I mean, as long as that's where it's at. It wasn't, and it wasn't like just how it was done. It was just done so smoothly where it was just like, okay, well, he already got the message. Drake is like down bad. Even white people over here talking about A minor, certified pedophile. Like they even did Kendrick Lamar's song on SNL with my dude Will Ferrell, who I love. Will Ferrell and Molly Shannon, where they do that couple where they're like a married older white couple, and they do like a hip hop songs, but they have like their little take on it, and it was fire for white people. So like Drake is taking a major L, and like she ain't got to worry about Drake. She with her dude. She doesn't even claim Drake. She's not even on him. She's never even said she dated him. SZA's never even said she dated him. You know who has said that they dated Drake? Drake. Drake is the only. Drake is the one. So yeah, I will let him do that. But Serena stated it was about the in your face from the tennis tournament. If my wife is an entertainer, then let her entertain. That's my snatch. Watch her bang on hood.
She's a tennis player. She's not a singer or artist or a dancer. I mean, she didn't go do her job. I mean, if she's an entertainer, let her entertain. She didn't go do her job. She wasn't swinging the tennis racket at all. But yeah, I get it.
I mean, she was repping Compton. You know what I'm saying? That's all it was. It was about Compton.
Yeah, so but we are. Mm-hmm.
No, and as you see out there, like they, especially in like California, and it's so like territorial, and they're at war a lot of times and stuff like that. So they tend to like rep, even as adults, they go hard and actually repping their hood, and you know what I'm saying, and stating it because they've been through war since the time they was younger. So it's like, I don't think it's something that we can understand, coming from like different parts of the country. But I mean, people in their 60s, they still banging. Like, I mean, it's a cultural thing. You know what I mean? So it's like, but that's just, that, and Kendrick Lamar's from Compton. So, that's what they was representing that night. You know what I mean? That's just what they do. That's something that we couldn't understand if you're not from there.
They couldn't have Ice Cube come out since they repping. Well, yeah, that was so crazy to rep Compton in Louisiana. I thought that was an interesting take, but I see how they it was just an interesting take, but I don't want to spin out of that. It is about 30 minutes into the show, into the hour. Mm-hmm. Just want to remind you guys to like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to see more of these conversations, let us know. So tonight's topic: should you ever Give an ex a second chance.
Listen, before y'all go too deep into that, man, I just want to ask to y'all on personal levels, have either one of you ever given someone a second chance, spun the block with somebody, and if so, how did it turn out?
I want to hear Chuck's story. You know, I come here for Chuck. Let's go.
Okay. You know I got him. All right, I'm
got
going. Look, all right, look, I'm gonna just tell y'all. Now listen, and this is, and you know, I got such a good heart, man, and sometimes it betrays me. Okay, let me say that. Let me make that disclaimer.
Okay, this gonna be good.
I was talking to this chick that she stayed in Georgia, right? And she wasn't shit, man. She wasn't shit. Okay, and like so. I always seen her like she was always doing little slick stuff, saying little slick stuff and all that. So I was like, man, I know I'm dealing with somebody who ain't nothing. I'm like, look, man, I'm about to go. You know what I'm saying? And every time I try to leave, she just started crying. Please don't go. I need you. Please don't go. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, all right, man. All right. You know what I'm saying? Because she was crying. And man, like I said, but her actions, she really like over the long term, she still was the same person, man. She never changed at the end. You know, she was always that same person, man. Like, you know, she revealed herself, and when people do reveal themselves, you know, like they always say, believe that. It's just like a movie. They always like do it in 3 acts, and in the first act, the enemy will often reveal themselves, and it's like that. It's art imitating life. They will reveal themselves, and you have to actually see that and see how they deal with people from their past. Like I said, this particular woman that I was dealing with, she was going through a divorce. I think she just didn't want to be lonely at the time. You know what I'm saying? You know, she just didn't want to be alone. But she just kept on crying every time I left until she was strong enough to actually move forward. And then she started trying to like talk shit out of the side of her neck and all that stuff or whatever. But I was glad that she did it. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, it was always easier for me to let them, you know, break up than for me, because it made me feel better in my conscience. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, you know, and I would do things just to make them do the breakup. Like I would say, like, hey, give me a couple $100. You know what I'm saying? I need to get my car.
Don't tell the secrets, bro. Don't tell the secrets.
I would do that on purpose because I knew she would never gave it to me anyway. But I knew that she was selfish, and her selfishness is going to supersede any other good that she has. You feel me? So there's always ways to make people leave. You know what I mean? So that made me kind of feel better. You know, my guy. So I just, okay, whatever. I was going to leave you anyway. But this wasn't going to last anyway. I was just here because I felt sorry for you. You know what I'm saying? And I have done that, and it did. I would never do that again. After that, I said no. I don't care how many crocodile tears somebody has. If you show me that you ain't shit, man, I'm out. I'm not wasting no more time. At the time, it was like close to COVID. You know, I was bored anyway. I ain't had nothing else to do. You know what I mean? Because you know everything was shut down. So, but I would never do that again. So no. So yeah, I have done that, and it's 9 times out of 10. Like if that person that you know is nothing, then you know it's not gonna work.
Penny, you ever spun the block?
I mean, yeah, technically, I did. It was this guy who I was just let's me tell your story, twin. I think that's pretty Chuck. It was a guy I used to, when I was in high school, I used to really like this guy a lot. Like really, really, I was just stuck on stupid for him. And he was like a couple years older than me. So when it was like I never got the chance to really be with him. But like he wasted a lot of my time, and for some reason I was like, yeah, he's it, right? So we like kind of like dated for a little bit, and then I because we jerked around so much, I was like, I'm just, he ended up getting some chick pregnant, and I was like, I'm just gonna go do my thing. So then he came back around, and at this period we were hanging out a lot, and he was like, what are we doing? And I've never had a guy ask me that, and I was just like so pumped up off of a guy asking me what are we, like, wow, he must be really interested. And I was like, well, I guess we could go together. And I remember laying there on that air mattress on the floor, in this little weed house. And I was just thinking to myself, you know, you fucked up, right? Like, this is a bad decision. And it was like, the relationship was really good. You know, I'm an easygoing partner. It was really, really good. So I can't complain about that. But it was just like, he still wanted to be with his baby mama. And like, you know, at first he didn't really have nothing going for him. I, you know, like you guys said, I tried to invest in a man. And, you know, he ain't have no job. I got him a job working with my dad. You know, he wasn't really, his car had broke down. We let him share my car. I was taking a bus. And it was really because he worked really far out. And I was on a bus line. And I like taking a bus. So it wasn't really a big deal to me. And once he got his, his face was like, I am an
like taking a bus.
Back then I did, because you saw it was the first time I've ever saw a real life transsexual on a bus, but it wasn't even like a good one. It was like he like probably played in his mom's, you know, his grandmother, his mother's clothes. His clothes was all wrong and everything. But you just saw so many interesting people on the bus. And then I could just sit, and when you ride the bus, you don't have to drive. You can just sit and kind of watch. And anywho, so we got together, and he just started getting his stuff up, started getting his life together, you know, coming up, you know how they do. And all of a sudden, before, he would never hang out with the fellas from work. Then he started hanging out with the fellas from work. And I didn't mind. Like, it was only on Thursdays. Like, he was like, hey, can I go out with the dudes? Even asked me, yeah, sure, you know, go ahead, have a good time. Because he was always at home, go have a good time. And so as the weeks went on, he just kept getting in later and later and later and later. And I remember one time I woke up at like 4 a.m. and realized he wasn't in the bed next to me. And I was like, oh my God, I hope he's okay. So I called him, and he was like, oh, the police pulled me over. You know, I'll be right there. And I'm like, okay, yeah. And this is how dumb I was. Because as an adult, right, I have questions like, all right, so you a black man and the police pulled you over in somebody else's car, and you don't have a driver's license, and you don't have insurance, and they let you go?
You'll be home in a minute. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, as an adult Champagne who's lived and has experience, I know that that's not the case. So I eventually, you know, found out that he was still calling his baby's mom and like, I really want to be with you and everything. And yeah, man, it just, I probably shouldn't have done that. I should not have spun the block on that. So, and I really didn't want to, but I just did it because I think sometimes your ego gets the best of you as a woman, and you're just like, I just want to win. I just want to win this. And sometimes, you know, we got egos too. We got pride as well. And I just learned like, hey, you know what? I probably shouldn't do this anymore. I don't think I would spin the block. And usually by the time that happens, you know, I'm sorry, Dante, give me your story.
So, I mean, I haven't spun the block much, but I do have a story when I was young. And the thing was, me and this person, we broke up because I moved location. So, you know, I was dating this young lady, and we only dated it was less than 6 months. Again, I was young. I might have been 19, 20, 21 years old. And we dated for a bit, but I moved, and as a result, we split. So, when I came back into town, I moved back maybe like a year and a half later. We attempted to pick up right where we left off. Long story short, I don't think we lasted 3 months on the get back, and it was on me. It was my fault. I wasn't ready. And I jumped right back into that situation, picked up where we left off, and I got caught up in some stuff pretty shortly after starting that relationship. So it didn't go very far. But that's all I got for y'all on that.
Yeah. And
knowing what you guys know. Oh, sorry.
No, just another incident too. Like you was talking about, there was some young lady that I dated, and you said about when you had moved. Like when I was, I think it was my junior year in high school. I stayed actually in Augusta, Georgia, because my dad, he was in the Army, right? So there was some young lady, you know, that I was dealing with. You know, she was my girl, or whatever. So you know, we was girlfriend and boyfriend or whatever for the last half of the you know, of the time. And so, you know, I had to move back to Ohio after the school year because my dad, he was actually moving. I moved back with my mom. And so we ended up breaking up because of me moving back. And, you know, back then there wasn't no Facebook, social media. It was just straight long distance calls. And Shit, couldn't nobody afford that back then. So anyway, we ended up breaking up. So I ended up seeing her like, and that was 1990. I ended up seeing her again in like, we reconnected on Facebook in like 2012. It was like maybe 20 something years later. And then when I met her, I mean, you know what I'm saying? We had lived life and everything. And she had, you know, she was like an ex-stripper and, you know what I'm saying? And things like that. It was still like the same type of chemistry that we had when we were younger. But, you know, she had a lot of miles on her at that point. So, you know, she wasn't no settling down type. She was already a firecracker though back then. And, you know, and then now she was a stripper and all that. So it was like, you know, I couldn't, you know, I wasn't going to be that type of person. I can't, you know, if you're a stripper, you active, I can't do it. You know what I mean? You know, so it was just, you know, we had grown apart. So I couldn't go back to that situation at all. But like I said, I mean, sometimes, you know, people do actually grow and change into the better. You know what I'm saying? And I think that sometimes you got to see that because like I told you, man, look, I'm not the same guy I was 5 or 6 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And if people would have seen that, you know, they were smart enough to see the change, you know, they could have had something, but you know, but no second chances given my way, you know, but it wasn't meant to be anyway, because I found a person that I was supposed to be with anyway. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
But,
Champagne.
Yeah.
Champagne, how do you feel on the whole thing? Was there ever a situation where you should spin the block?
Me no. And that's mainly because once like we're done, I just don't have those feelings anymore. It's just not the same. And I'm just kind of not interested in rekindling it because it's just like I feel like that's out of a desperation situation. It's out of a lack mentality. There's millions of people out there, and I just kind of feel like I would rather just go and give somebody else a shot. You know, go see what they got going on. I've already hung out with you. I see what you got, and now that I've had time to look and think about the things that you offer, now it's like, oh no, I'm okay. No, we can be friends.
So say it's like 10, 15 years later, like you haven't dealt with this person in a long time. 10, 15 years later, they're in much better shape financially, physically. Are you not giving this person a chance solely based on the fact that 10 years back, 12 years back, you decided it wouldn't work then?
You know what? If we, and here's my thing, if we're not together, it's probably a really good reason why we are not together.
He cheated on you 12 years ago?
I mean, yeah, that would be kind of hard for me to get into a relationship. And I think a lot of women, they do this and they really shouldn't. You know, your dude cheats on you and you get into this relationship and you know he cheated on you. So now like you're doing things that you didn't do before because of that fear of cheating, right? Now you're like, let me see your phone. Well, where were you at? Like you're more like hyper vigilant about him cheating, even though he may never cheat again. It's just if it happened, you're so scarred. And it's kind of hard to get over that. And I wouldn't really even want that for him, really, because he's not going to be able to enjoy the relationship because he's going to have to consistently reassure me that he's not out here in these streets. And that just seems like a waste of time for both of us.
Yeah, he's not getting that woman that he once had. You're a different version of that woman based on the scars and damage from the cheating. I get it. He's not getting that same woman. I feel you.
Yeah, I mean, Chuck always talks about, which I don't necessarily agree with, but this is a good example of his point that you'll never love again like your first love. Like once you've been hurt, you know, that you just never love the same. No one loves the same. And that would fall into that. Like once you've been hurt by someone like that, and to the women who may have, you know, Chuck has hurt them, and it was probably, and but I'm giving an example. It probably wasn't a one-time thing. It was probably a multiple-time thing. So you're asking them to kind of look past that and to give you another chance, because let's say you do it again, then everybody's going to look at her like, well, duh. I mean, what did you think was going to happen? If your sister, Dante, if your sister took back a cheater and her husband cheated on her again, are you going to really be empathetic, or are you going to be like, well, sis, you know, he showed
Yeah,
you who
great
he
point.
was?
Yeah, great point.
I mean, look, come on, man. Like, see, I think, like I said, with black women, y'all pride yourself on your cutoff game. You know what I'm saying? You love to like cut people off. Like, no, he would never talk to me again. That's like, that's how
Blocked.
you flex your strength. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm gonna give you another example. All right, my oldest daughter's mom, right? She never got over this. I made a statement this one time. You know, I was just a young asshole. You know what I'm saying? Like when she
A
was
young
young,
one.
like we got into an argument, and I said, "Hey, I was like, listen, you would never be an Ivory girl, so don't even stop trying." You know what I'm saying? And, bro, she still be saying that shit. She still, and that was like back in the 90s. Bro,
You
I
touched
was
her.
like 19, 20 years old. I was out on these hoes, man. Come on. I wasn't in my right state of mind. Why would you hold that against me? You know what I mean? Man, look, man.
I mean, and she's not an Ivory girl, is she?
No, she's not.
Ah.
She had my daughter, but you know, I'm just saying.
Hey,
But I'm just saying, like, you know, it's just stuff like that. Like, I mean, it's so sometimes like it could be just a fine line where your pride comes in and it could prevent you from actually finding the person that could be for you. People develop over time, man. Like I said, you got to forgive if you want to be forgiven. If it's not something so blatantly where somebody, like I said, they went out and blatantly cheated on you. They you know, they did something crazy, like, you know, molested a kid or something crazy like that. I mean, people can change, man. You know, it's like I said, when I went through my self-reflection, it was like I was baptized by fire within myself. You know what I'm saying? Because I realized all the dirt that I did. So that actually cleaned my slate to where I wanted to do good and make up for all the dirt that I did. So I was a completely different person. If I can change, anybody can. Trust me. If you talk to anybody that knew me like 7-8 years ago, you know what I'm saying? I'm not the same guy. That guy is gone. So come on, y'all. Like I'm telling you, man. If you guys connect on certain levels and everything, and things are and it just might have been like maybe a certain behavior that they were doing or something that they needed to change, it could be correctable.
Well, exactly. I mean, and again, given the example of like somebody, reason you break up matters. If it was because they cheated on you, then I totally get. Most people aren't going to spend a block in that situation. But to the love doctor's point, it could have been something simple, moving out of town, being distant from each other. Maybe you were pursuing your school and they were pursuing their career at that time. Maybe they weren't financially stable then. This is 10 years later and they own their own business and things are going well for them now. Or, you know, maybe they were dealing with their baby mom still back then and they had to grow up and realize like, she's only here to destroy what I got going on and I'll never let that happen again. You know, my take on the whole thing is if I was to ever spin the block, that person needs to be a better person today than the person that I met in the first place. Now, that rarely happens, but it can happen. If I met a young lady and she was in a particular position when we met, dated, hung out, whatever the case, if I were to meet her again today, we were to bump into each other today, I would need to hear that she's in a much better place and she's a better person than she was, that she's doing better. That she's taking care of herself better, that she values better things. And if all of that stuff aligned, I'm not closed-minded enough to say if it didn't work one day, 7 years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, then there's no way that it can work today because I do believe that people can change. But at the same time, you do approach that situation with a higher level of scrutiny because you must be better than that person that I left behind. If I'm just getting the same thing, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I you know, one of the love doctor made a point of where it's that we cut off people for the slightest, so we pride ourselves on that. But I don't think protecting yourself and holding yourself in high esteem is necessarily shorting you, especially as Black women. Black women put up with a lot. We put it like right now we're talking about, well, as long as he didn't cheat or beat you, you know, he's still a good guy, and there's more to.
I didn't say he was a good guy.
Ain't nobody said none of that.
You should still give him a second chance. I mean, as long as he doesn't do those two things, you should give him a second chance.
Because those are unforgivable acts, right? Exactly.
But there's more than that. And that's why I think also that we have a disconnect. When I tell you about the emotional part of a relationship, there was a guy when I was younger and I met, and he was a guy who he wasn't a bad guy. Like, he had a job. He did the basic things. He had a plan, but he was so negative. Like, everything he said had such a negativity behind it. I am a very positive person. I could never date anyone like that. I did date someone like that. And the negativity was so strong that it would start to take over my positivity. And people like, well, you could change. Or you cannot change no man who does not want to be changed. If that man is not interested in wanting to be better and wanting to change himself for the sake of changing himself, there is nothing that you can do. We got to stop telling women, oh, give him a chance. You can change. He will only change if he wants to change. And he needs to change on his own before you get with him. To Dante's point, yes, the reason why you broke up matter. If it was a dude, I'm trying to think of, there was this guy I met in my early 20s. He was an iota, very handsome. He was like couple years older than me. Just, he had it going on, and the conversations were great. He was a good dad. He was very involved with his son's life, like just a really good guy. And he was so good that even we had talked about how we were raised without our fathers in this life. So, as we were talking, we was kicking it, we was making plans. He I guess him and his baby mom wanted to make it work. I wasn't that emotionally involved. It was just a couple weeks, but he talked to me about it. He was like, hey, we talked about, how you and me, we grew up this way. I don't want my son to be like that. I really want to give it a second chance with a girl, and that kind of burned me a little bit, but I understood. And then the next day I texted him to see if maybe it was just a joke, but it wasn't. He was like all dry, and I was like, okay, he's serious. I'm not. But if that man was to come back around because of the way that we ended, I could absolutely give him a second chance because of how he left. But the ex who was super negative, if he came back around, it'll be just a hint of negativity. I'm like, I'm done. I can't even do it. I can't. It's a waste.
Yeah.
See, I mean, right. I feel you. I mean, because how you felt when that happened. I want to just push back a little bit about, you're right. You cannot actually change someone, but you can actually inspire people to change, but they have to do it on their own timetable. I'm gonna just give you another example. I told this story before. Like there was some lady that was helping me out, doing my movies and stuff like that. I wasn't attracted to her initially. But she was like my understudy. She was like my little prodigy. Like I taught her camera work. I taught her how to edit.
I bet you did, love doctor.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even, I'm telling you, I wasn't even sexually attracted to her, for real. But her dedication was so strong towards me. And she was always there, when I needed her and stuff like that. When I was literally like at my bottom with nothing, like she was there. Over time, she won me over. You know what I'm saying?
You owed her that D.
And I did. What did he say?
You owed her that D.
Right. So she won me over. And and I did, even though she wasn't necessarily my type, I would have actually considered being in a relationship with her, you know what I'm saying, because of her dedication, because I knew I had somebody solid. Now, towards the end of it, when she actually started being in a relationship with somebody else, I found out that she wasn't shit. You know what I'm saying? So, it played out like it was
right.
Nah, she ain't shit. Ain't you something?
She wasn't. I'm trying to tell you, bro. She did some dirty shit, man. I'm telling you, she was, bro. Yeah,
you ain't put no ring on it, G. You ain't put.
Bro.
They'll never be an ivory.
Y'all wasn't locked in, bro. So she ain't owe you nothing, did she?
Nah, bro. But okay. That's okay. I'm gonna finish the story then a little bit. Okay, so now after I did realize I would have gave her a chance, she was already moved on with somebody, right? She was in another relationship. So then she basically, she started talking shit after that. She was in a new relationship. She was like, nah, nigga, fuck you, and all that stuff. I gave you a chance. Oh, okay, it's cool. So I got into another relationship, right? And she started like calling the girl that I started talking to. Like, and throwing, you see what I'm saying? So nah, she wasn't shit. She was trying to sabotage. So
she
no.
buried
So
Yeah.
it was good. Like I said, I didn't feel bad about dogging her for all those years and fucking all the the cast members and shit like that. And fuck it, man. You know what I'm saying? I did all that. On her watch. So it's all good. So
On
what
her
the fuck
watch.
she did at the end, it didn't matter.
Oh my god. So real quick, Chuck, check. YouTube said the sound is off.
It's on now.
Uh-oh.
We straight now. It was off for a second.
Oh,
Hold
okay.
on.
All right. Cool. It's a delay. We got a couple people on there. So Dante, Chuck, are y'all spinning the block?
Whoa. Listen, man. If you come back, you better be 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times better than the young lady that I left behind. I would need to see a great deal of growth, and I would need to see a great deal of potential in a person to take that step. But it's not impossible. I'm not giving it a 100% never. I'm never saying never. Completely open to people growing and changing, and who we are at 40 may not have been reflected through who we were at 25. And I'm open to understand that and open to giving someone a chance. If we can connect on a real level, then I'm open to see where it goes, even if at one point in the past things didn't work before us. Unless she cheated on me.
Oh, you can't even forgive the cheating when she was young.
Then there's never a chance. I'm sorry. Once a cheater, always a cheater, except for when you're guys.
At least he's honest with it, ladies. Chuck?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, yeah, I mean, I told you, after I changed and was baptized through fire, I actually tried to revisit some of my exes, or they weren't my ex. Let me make this disclosure. I was never emotionally tied to anybody, even my ex-wife. No one can hurt me by any means. I didn't give a fuck. My ex-wife gave up some side pussy. I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? Because I was doing my thing. So, so going through these relationships that I had in the past, I never actually gave my all to the relationships. So I knew that some of these relationships, I could have done better in them. And, I could have made them work, because some of these women were good women. But I decided, what I'm saying? So I did try. So yeah, I would, depending on if they were a good person and maybe that they might have 1 or 2 deficiencies that could be worked on. But if it's not a fixable problem that you had in the past, then no. But if it is a fixable problem, then yeah, we could have a second chance. You know what I'm saying? But if it's not fixable, I don't know what to tell you.
Champagne B, what say you?
I just want to add that MD Mass from YouTube says black men don't cheat. Yes,
Turn it up. T-shirts, hats, bumper stickers.
No. I've been sitting here and revisiting my dating past, and it's very few that I would say yeah to. Very, very, very few. So I would say the majority, it's probably going to be a no, but it would be very, very few. And I don't know that it would be hard to give my whole entire heart to them, because it's like, I can't. Like he's really going to have to earn it. It's going to take him a while to earn it. And just like when he hit that age of 81 and he's on his deathbed, I'm like, hey babe, you've earned it.
Damn.
Then he'll pass away. Give me all his money.
Okay. All right. Don't hook her up with your uncle, man. Don't hook her up with your uncle.
Your uncle is safe. He didn't do me wrong. As long as your uncle ain't did me wrong, I'm cool with that. So, all right. So you guys, like we said, what was it? So date with caution, take your ex back with caution, validate why you guys broke up. Somebody says, what's an unfixable problem?
An unfixable problem, like I said before, is something that is major, that's unforgivable, like something like you cheated on somebody, you lied about this is my baby, things like that. You molested kids. Yeah, I mean something major. That's what's unforgivable. But anything below that might be
shot
something
my
like
mom.
on a on a petty level, those things are forgivable. You know what I'm saying? People's character can change over time. Take it from me. I changed completely. I'm not that same person. Like I said, if I can change, anybody else can change. Any final thoughts before we get up out of here, y'all?
Look, you guys, date with caution, all right? Don't be afraid to try new things. There's millions of people on this earth. You don't have to go back in time if you don't want to. The end.
Like, share, and subscribe, man. We catch y'all next week.
All right. So, hey, that concludes the show. And like I said, my final thought is, listen, our soulmate is out there. Stay positive. You will find that person. Stop being so quick to break up with somebody and run. Stop running. It ain't track season. Work your problems out and work everything. Try to work things out, man, before you start running, man, because like I said, this life is so short, and man, we don't want to spend it by ourselves, man. There's so much other levels that we can go to in our relationship. But anyway, until next time, thank you for tuning in. Like I said, like and subscribe to the channel. We'll see y'all next week. Same place, same time. Peace.
Peace out.